Hi, I'm Jared from KTWU. Coming up, a segment from Sunflower Journeys. If you enjoy it, please consider visiting ktwu.org to make a contribution.
For our last segment today, we wrap up our 20th season with some reflections from the people who've put these shows together over the years. We brought Claire Waring and Amanda Shaw back to join our current producers and reminisce about memorable moments from the past 20 years of producing Sunflower Journeys.
Welcome. Here we are for the 20th anniversary of Sunflower Journeys. And what a treat. We have gotten all of the producers, or most all of them, here in the studio together to talk about what it's been like to produce this show for 20 years. Amanda Shaw and Claire Waring have come back to Kansas to be part of this. I wanted to start off by asking everyone to talk about the times that you've been producing segments for Sunflower Journeys. We'll start with Dave.
Well, I guess I came in pretty much at the beginning. The series didn't exist as such when I came on. I was here in '87 and we had the first show on the air in 1988 in January.
Well, I came on the show in 2000. I was a latecomer, fresh out of college, and got to take a crack at my first story was on the county fairs in Kansas. So I spent Dave and I spent an extremely hot day, hot in temperature since all the way in, where were we? Marshall County at the fair, amongst the sheep and the giant tomatoes.
I think I'm the newest comer here. I started 2000, what year is this? 2005, sometime in June. And my first story was in Bird City, Kansas for the antique and Thrasher and antique something show. So it was hot. You got into it, didn't you? Yeah, it was hot too. Like Amanda, it was really hot. I mean, no, she's hot, but I mean, it was hot.
Keep digging, John.
It came out wrong.
We're on a roll. Here we go.
I've been here since '88, since Dave has been doing these, and one of the earliest stories I can remember doing was the Huff and Puff balloon rally that was done out here. Well, right when we were ready to shoot that one, I had broken my heel on my foot, and I couldn't go flying. And Dave took over and went flying for me and got some of the most beautiful shots. And I always remember you kind of coming to my rescue on that one. That was a good story. It turned out to be really, really fun. And but there were a lot of those. That was one of the fun things about doing the series. There just seemed to be an endless supply of good stories to do.
I came here in 1989 from Austin, where I had gotten my master's degree, and I was working for the Fox affiliate. And I left in '98, so I was here for 9 years. And the first story that I worked on was Bill Gomer, the saddle maker. He kept talking about the secrets of the trade, and how he doesn't hide the secrets of the trade.
What is the process, just briefly?
Gosh, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
We had trouble getting him to tell us about the secrets of the trade.
I started out at the beginning of the series too, which is kind of scary for me. Like I said, I had no experience at writing scripts and things before we started doing Sunflower Journeys. No experience narrating. I had Bill narrate segments for the first couple of seasons for me.
I started in 1998 on the series, and it was about my third day, and I was riding on a 100-degree day. I think that's just standard for the course, in a covered wagon, so across the Flint Hills. So that's where I knew I had arrived at Sunflower Journeys. But my question now to Dave is, how did this program start, and was there a predecessor at KTWU to Sunflower Journeys?
Well, from what I'd heard, it was something that the program director, Dave Pomeroy, had kind of been pushing, wanting to get a regular series on the air. And there had been something on that had been somewhat irregular, I guess. There were a couple things. I'm not sure if Sunflower Journal ever was a series.
That was a title.
It was a title, but there weren't shows. It was also kind of along the same lines of a mini-series called So This Is Kansas, Huh? So we kind of came into that situation. I think that was in like in '85 when those were produced. So it was like 3 years later that I came in, and that was what they hired me for, with the idea that my main job would be to, organize it into some kind of series. So somebody had suggested Sunflower Journal, so that was the original title, but then somebody else had heard that and thought it was Sunflower Journeys, and the program director, I think, liked that title better. And so we'll make it Journeys.
So the name was misinterpreted, and that's what became the title of the show for 20 years?
I guess you could say that, yeah. Hi, I'm Dave Kendall. Welcome to Sunflower Journeys. Tonight we bring you the first in a series of programs on the people, places, and things that go on in the Sunflower State. I think the journey image is one thing that's made it so popular, because that's kind of a positive thing, and people like traveling and journeys, and it's just kind of a good feeling to it. And then the sunflower, I mean, that's another kind of warm and fuzzy sort of thing. So I think the title, as much as anything else, has made it a popular series.
So let's talk about hats.
Welcome to Sunflower Journeys. I'm Dave Kendall.
You've worn a few hats over the years.
I'm Dave Kendall. Welcome to Sunflower Journeys. I'm Dave Kendall. Well, it's kind of out of necessity, because the wind does tend to blow in Kansas. In our final story, my hat's going to blow off with the British aristocracy, and I'm losing my hat. So you needed something to keep the hair out of your eyes.
I was actually reminiscing about my one attempt at doing stand-ups for a story, and it was a story that I was doing about coal miners. Dave had the brilliant idea of, well, Claire, why don't you do your narration part live, and we'll just set up in front of a slag heap. And okay, I'll give it a try. And the Kansas wind was at its best that day, and my hair was all over the place, and I finally get something memorized, and the wind would blow and my hair would go like this. And we got some that we could use, but it was not pretty.
Are you rolling? Okay. Let me fix my hair. Well, it was a very intimidating thing to do. I was very nervous about, co-hosting with Dave Kendall, who'd been hosting for 15 years at that point, almost 14 years.
But as it worked out, we'd get out on the road, and it seemed like it was just constant laughter.
Well, Emmanuel, what do you say? Welcome to Sunflower Journeys. I'm Dave Kendall.
It's the wrong one.
It's the wrong
promo.
Oh, shoot. I forgot what we're doing.
Well, I think we have a very special mission to tell these stories. And I'd kind of like to see what each of you thinks about what this program gives to the state of Kansas.
I don't remember ever leaving an interview without thinking, God, what great people. It always surprised me. You'd go in, you'd be a little nervous about meeting new people. I'm an introvert, so it was really kind of hard. But then at the end of it all, you'd always go, wow, that kind of renews my faith in people.
My favorite kinds of stories were stories where people were passionate about something. It doesn't matter what somebody's passionate about. When you talk to them, it's contagious and they're and interesting. Local television is very swiftly on its way out, and this is one of the last series that is, produced in a place, and it's about a certain place, and I think that in itself has value.
Well, we get a lot of feedback from people that say they really enjoy the series. It makes them feel proud to be a Kansan, and I think it goes back to what Amanda says, is there's not a whole lot of local programming out there, so that, you do see segments on news that may be somewhat similar to what we do, but they only have 2 minutes at the most to tell the story. So, that's where we've got a little bit more luxury of time to tell a story and flesh it out.
Well, we hope everyone enjoys the program, and I've really enjoyed talking to you all here. This was a plan of mine that I've had for some time, and it was amazing that it all came together. So with that, I guess that ends our show.
Good job, Scott. Thank you for getting us together.
Good luck editing.
We're done.
Do we keep talking while the credits